The morning began like any other. The sun was gentle, the sky calm, and inside the train, people were relaxed. Some were sipping coffee, some scrolling through their phones, others quietly staring out the window as the countryside rushed past. This wasn't just any train. This was a symbol of perfection, a machine trusted by millions, a train the world proudly called the safest ever built. No one inside it had the slightest idea that safety, as they knew it, was about to be exposed as an illusion. Because sometimes the most dangerous failures don't come with warnings. They don't scream, they don't shake. They wait patiently, hidden deep inside systems that look flawless from the outside. And when they finally reveal themselves, they don't just break metal and concrete, they break trust. What nobody expected was that this train, praised for its engineering, admired for its speed, and trusted with countless lives, was quietly heading toward a disaster that would shock the entire world. Years before that peaceful morning, this train was born from ambition. After World War II, countries across the globe were racing toward the future. Roads were crowded, air travel was expensive, and railways, once slow and outdated, needed a revolution. Engineers dreamed of trains that could move faster than ever before, yet remain stable, smooth, and safe. Japan was the first to turn that dream into reality. When the bullet train was introduced, it didn't just change transportation, it changed how people thought about safety. High speed no longer meant high risk. Other nations watched closely. France followed with its sleek designs. Italy joined the race, and soon Germany stepped forward, determined not to be left behind. Germany's reputation for precision engineering was legendary. Every bolt, every wire, every calculation was expected to be perfect. When they introduced their high-speed train, the world paid attention. This wasn't just a train, it was a statement. Passengers praised its quiet ride, experts admired its technology, media outlets called it a masterpiece. But behind all that praise, deep inside the system, a compromise had been made. At the heart of every train lies a simple but critical component, the wheels. They carry not just weight, but responsibility. Every life on board depends on them performing perfectly every second at extreme speeds. Originally, the train used solid steel wheels, strong, reliable, and proven over decades. They weren't flashy, but they worked. However, there was a problem. At very high speeds, passengers began to notice vibrations. Glasses rattled, plates shook. The ride wasn't dangerous, but it wasn't comfortable either. And comfort matters, especially when you're selling the idea of perfection. Engineers searched for a solution. Replacing entire wheels regularly was expensive. Maintenance took time. Executives wanted something smarter, something cheaper, something innovative. That's when the new wheel design was approved. It looked brilliant on paper. Instead of a single solid piece, the wheel was made in parts, with a layer of rubber inside to absorb vibrations. The idea was simple: smoother ride, less noise, lower costs. But here's the twist. This design had never been tested at extreme high speeds over long periods. Warnings were raised. Some experts expressed concerns, but they were brushed aside. After all, nothing had gone wrong yet. And in complex systems, nothing yet often becomes the most dangerous assumption. For years, the train ran without incident. Millions of passengers traveled safely. Confidence grew stronger with every successful journey. The world pointed to this train as proof that technology had finally conquered risk. But small signs began to appear. Minor reports, tiny irregularities. Nothing dramatic, nothing urgent, and that's exactly why they were ignored. What nobody expected was that the rubber layer, designed to hide vibrations, was also hiding something else: tiny cracks forming inside the steel. Each time the wheel rotated at high speed, it flexed just a little, thousands of times an hour, millions of times a week. The cracks were invisible, silent, growing slowly, and no one was listening.
Then came the day everything changed. The train left the station right on schedule. Inside, families laughed. Business travelers prepared for meetings. Tourists snapped photos. As the train accelerated, it reached incredible speeds with ease. The ride felt smooth, almost too smooth. But underneath, one wheel had reached its limit. Without warning, a piece of steel broke free. It smashed upward through the floor of the carriage like a blade, narrowly missing passengers. Panic erupted. Screams filled the air. One man rushed to alert the crew. Protocol demanded verification. The train kept moving, and in those few extra minutes, fate made its decision. As the train approached a critical section of track where rails split and switched directions, the broken piece of wheel struck the mechanism below. In a single moment, physics took control. The train twisted, carriages pulled in opposite directions, metal screamed against concrete. One carriage slammed into a bridge pillar, another lifted and collapsed. Others behind crashed into each other like falling dominoes. What had been a symbol of safety became a scene of unimaginable destruction. Rescue workers arrived to chaos, twisted steel, crushed compartments, survivors trapped, calling out for help. Some passengers were saved by inches, others were not as lucky. The world watched in disbelief. How could this happen? How could the safest train on Earth fail so completely? Investigators searched for answers. At first, they suspected external causes, sabotage, obstacles on the track, human error. But the truth was far more unsettling. The failure came from within. Records revealed repeated warnings about wheel damage, inspections that relied on visual checks instead of advanced detection, alerts that were logged but never acted upon. The very design meant to improve comfort had masked danger until it was too late. The emotional impact was devastating. Families lost loved ones. Survivors struggled with trauma. Engineers questioned their own decisions. Public trust shattered overnight. People who once boarded trains without a second thought now hesitated. Governments demanded reforms. Companies faced lawsuits. The industry was forced to confront an uncomfortable truth. Progress without humility can be deadly. In the aftermath, changes were swift. The experimental wheel design was abandoned. Solid steel wheels returned. Inspection systems were upgraded. Safety protocols rewritten. But no upgrade could undo what had already happened. The disaster became a lesson taught in engineering schools around the world, not as a story of bad luck, but as a warning against arrogance. Because the real failure wasn't metal or machinery. It was the belief that perfection had already been achieved. It was the decision to ignore small warnings in favor of big promises. It was the idea that a system proven safe yesterday would always be safe tomorrow. Today, high-speed trains continue to run. They are faster, smarter, and safer than ever before. But hidden inside their design philosophy is a quiet reminder of that day. A reminder that safety is not a destination. It's a responsibility that must be earned again and again. And that even the world's safest train can fail when trust replaces caution.